This is the Rebel Scum podcast.
Oh my.
I'm James.
I'm Brock.
Razile.
Smink.
We're talking Star Wars for the next hour, half hour, 25 minutes,
What?
whatever it ends up being. We're going to talk Star Wars.
I gotta make a bus in 10 minutes.
Oh, well,
There's no watch on this arm.
do people wear watches anymore? Unless it's like a smart watch.
Man, like when I moved out here, I just threw it away.
I don't need time. Guys, we have an Ahsoka Pop. We're going to give this away. Not today, but we'll tell you how you can win this later on in the show. I didn't really throw it, but this is Ahsoka. It's a Hot Topic exclusive given to us by our pal at Fatty Fan Theories.
Thanks, fatty fanboy.
Thank you so much. So it's Ahsoka. We'll tell you how to figure that out later on in the show. We got a cool show, but February is coming to an end. Thanks everybody who stuck around for our week of Raylo, who watched
Thank you.
January content with the trivia contest.
Wow.
Ranking Star Wars and what else did we do that month? We did and our
Star Wars.
Last Jedi roundup. March is coming, which means we're gonna have the novelization of the Last Jedi. We're gonna have the Blu-ray release of the Last Jedi, and it's gonna be a cool month, I think.
Correct.
And that brings us 2 months from the Solo, a Star Wars story.
Oh, I can't wait.
I'm super excited for that one at all. Today we're going to be talking about the future of Star Wars, how bright it is, how miserable it is, because Star Wars is dead. But before we get into that, let's move on to our Patreon page. Guys, we're on Patreon. I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. For $1, you get early access and cloning around our Star Wars, the Clone Wars TV show series, where we will watch, review, recap, and discuss the Clone Wars in depth, as much depth as we can. Andrew and Rob will also be a part of that, so don't let that discourage you. For $2, you'll get everything I just said, plus Andrew Fantasia's documentary. I still haven't done the video. I need to do the video. Go to his place and show everyone this database that he has. It is insane.
It's probably just like a cork board with like little pictures and notes.
It is on his computer. He has this app on his computer, and it's color coded. Everything is color coded, and and he's been working on it for I think years. So it's going to be incredible. So this documentary is going to be fairly legit. For $3, you get everything I just said, plus you'll have anything you want us to talk about. We will talk about here. We will talk about on Scavenger Scum. We will talk about it forever and ever and ever
and ever
and ever. Forever. No cast. And our final tier is $10. That is the Rebel Scum tier. You get every single thing I just said. Plus, you get to be a contestant on Duel of the Fates. You also get to be on Vote or No Confidence and perhaps flying casual as
whatevs.
well. So, and also everybody that is a part of our Patreon page, your Patreon subscribers are all in the draw to win Star Wars The Last Jedi on Blu-ray.
On VHS.
On VHS. And we promise whatever country you live in, you'll get that version, unless you want the Canadian copy of it.
Yeah.
Which you probably don't.
Last Jedi,
Get it? Yeah, Ray's voice is completely different. And Luke milks Moose. That's actually what happens. So if you're on Patreon, you're already in that contest. We'll do that in probably a couple of weeks. You'll know in advance. Mm-hmm. So don't pre-order it just yet.
Don't. Stop it. Wait.
You put your Amazon account down.
You don't need that Steelbook one or Steel.
Maybe that's what the prize will be.
Maybe.
We can't
Who
say.
knows?
We can't say.
Nobody knows because we don't know when it's coming out yet. Ish.
We do. All right. First topic of the day. Okay, so
Star Wars.
2 weeks ago, Game of Thrones was announced.
Right.
Not Game of Thrones, but the creators were announced. Then, like the day after that, Bob Iger's like, and we're doing 1 million TV shows as well. And now we're getting to this point where you say, okay, Last Jedi comes out in December.
Yep.
Solo comes out in May.
Yep.
You've got a Rian Johnson trilogy coming. Mm-hmm. You've got the Game of Thrones series coming, whatever that's going to be.
Yeah.
You've got potentially an Obi-Wan film.
Yep.
You've got potentially a Boba Fett film. You've got potentially a Lando film.
Oh, God.
You've got potentially an IG-88 film. You've got potentially a Jabba the Hutt film. Potentially a Mascanata film. You got all these potential films.
Kindergarten Hut.
Oh, my God, I'd watch that. But you have all of these potential films. At what point do they say, okay, we need more than one a year? Will they get to that point?
That we don't want one every year?
No, that we'll get more than one a year.
Oh, God. I don't know. I mean, Marvel's just starting to do it, I feel. Or am I incorrect in that? Like,
I think they've done it for a few years now.
But it's just... I think Star Wars, or Lucasfilm rather, is slightly different. Because as much as they get new directors, and I'm assuming new crew on each one, they tend to be like, well, we have to... There's like more rules to follow, it seems like. Maybe that's just because Star Wars is an old regime that changed hands, so now it's like finding that happy medium was harder. But I guess... Because I look at it, I'm like, it feels different for some reason. Even though it really isn't. Like, they have Kathleen Kennedy, and Marvel has Kevin Feige. Like, he's not out there making the movie every day. I'm sure he's involved at some point in every project. But you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think it's hard to say till they decide on how sacred the text is. You know what I mean? I think we talked about this 2 weeks ago, where it's like, we can't, like, they try to make all this extra media with like books and comics, but like you're stifled because they can't reveal stuff. It's like, well, why can't you tell me what Luke was up to in between Jedi and Force Awakens? Who knows? Maybe once they get past the Skywalker Saga, they can be like, here's something that like it'll play into later. It's not going to ruin any of your experience, and it's not going to, if you don't read it or take part in it, it's not going to like ruin anything. You know what I mean? So
I get worried about oversaturating the brand.
Oh God, yeah.
Because if you're doing multiple TV shows at the same time, it sounds like, and then you have your movie a year.
Yeah.
At what point? Like, I've said this before. Like, Marvel movies, I know I'm in a minority here, but I don't care anymore. Like, I honestly am at the point where I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, true. I hear that a lot, especially with like in regards to DC, where people are disappointed with the films, and they're like, well, why do I want these films? I guess it really, like, the numbers is what really counts. So it's like, once Star Wars numbers start dipping, then they'll be like, maybe we need to ease back. But, I mean, that's just business, right? If you don't have a product that sells, you stop making that product. But yeah, oversaturation, I don't know. It's like, as much, I mean, we just watched the Venom trailer. Or we've watched the Venom trailer a couple weeks ago when you were here last. And it was like, the day after was, or like not even a 24 hours, it was like 20,000 plays or 20 million plays or something like that. Like, people are still interested in it to an extent. Just because you may not like it, like, I don't know, like.
But the Venom thing's interesting because that's like that's a
not, gamble. Like,
it's a gamble, and it's not. It's a superhero movie, but it's not the Marvel superhero movie.
It's the villain.
Like, when I saw the Avengers trailer, the new one, the first one on Good Morning America, because I woke up and did that live stream with Josh, I didn't say this, but I was underwhelmed by it because I felt like, okay, I've seen all of this 10 years now. Yeah. I've seen this, and for me, it's like, okay, I don't want to get into the Marvel thing, but like, okay, every single character's in it, but how, like, that doesn't sell me anymore because I'm almost like, I've seen that. Like, I'm more intrigued by like the standalone films. Like, I haven't seen Black Panther yet because I was on vacation. I might be on vacation right now. I haven't seen that yet, but I'm more excited for something like that, and I was more excited for Ant-Man and Doctor Strange than I am for these team-ups because the oversaturation.
Yeah.
Like, they're in their Avenger movies together, but then they're also in the Civil War movie together. Yeah. And then they're also going to have to appear in every movie together. And when you do that with Star Wars, it's like in Star Wars, I feel like even to a lesser extent, because I keep asking the question, and you guys are great because you keep answering it.
Yeah.
But what is Star Wars? And if Game of Thrones comes in to do Star Wars, what makes it Star Wars? And that's what I'm still trying to wrap my head around. Like, if I were to pitch a Star Wars movie to Kathleen Kennedy, I'm like, Kathleen Kennedy, I have an idea for a Star Wars movie. It's about this guy. His name is Doug, because that's my favorite. Doug, a Star Wars story. Go with that one. His name is Doug, and he does not believe in the Force, and the Force does not exist. What separates what I'm saying from Valerian or from any other sci-fi movies? What, like, and that's where I'm trying to figure out. And is it just the Force? Is that what it is? I don't know. Is it the lived-in environment? Like, what is it about these movies that makes it Star Wars? And if they all have to be familiar, at what point are we going to say, okay, well, I just watched 3 Star Wars movies on Disney's streaming service. Yeah. Now I got to go watch this next one because it's part 1 of 700. Like, and what separates the Game of Thrones saga of 7 or 8 or 9 movies and the streaming service one? Like what? Like I worry that one day we're gonna sit down and be like, oh, the new Star Wars is out. I'll wait a week. I'll wait a month.
I don't know. I guess it's like the real. In regards to what is a Star Wars film, yeah, I think the Force and Jedi are kind of vital.
I don't think Jedi are anymore. They've kind of like nixed that one.
But I guess the political system to an extent is sort of relevant, even though like they keep changing it. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, you know, comparing Star Trek and Star Wars, you know, Star Trek feels real. Star Wars is like, this is like almost sci fantasy, you know what I mean? Like where it's like, it's understandable but unrecognizable. But then Valerian is sort of the same thing. I don't know. I don't think you'll ever have an answer because nobody is exactly satisfied with everyone's specific look at it.
But when people complain about how they brought back the Skywalker Saga, it's like, well, of course it did, because that is Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like, we've never had Star Wars without Skywalker. Like, it's always been about that we haven't.
I mean, Rogue One isn't technically.
But Rogue One didn't exist.
What do you mean?
I'm saying when Disney took Star Wars, they were like, everyone's complaining, why does that have to be Skywalker? Because we've never had anything but Skywalker. Star Wars is about Skywalker up until Rogue One.
Right.
We didn't know that. So, like, there was nothing else. And you can argue, well, the games don't count. It's the movies that count. And you had 6 movies, and they were all about Skywalker. So what? And then Rogue One comes, but Rogue One still leads into Skywalker. So, and Anakin's in it, technically, Vader. So, I think it's exciting because we don't know what we're going to get, and we don't even know if we're going to like what we're going to get, because it's not like, no matter what they do, it's going to be different from the 9 films that we have, because it has to be.
Yeah, possibly. I don't know. Like, I think we're being a little too, what's the word? Not critical. I think we're giving viewers a way more. Sorry, I can't find my words. It's like, I think we're making the audience seem more sophisticated than they are, because I mean, look at the world we live in, where like, yeah, we get excited about a show like Stranger Things because like, oh, that's very different, but it's not really different. It's an homage to old 80s sci-fi films, or you know, It, or Stephen King, or whatever you want to, and then like, you still get cool content like, I don't know, Breaking Bad. That's a little old now, but it's like, oh, that's unique. But it's not really a new idea, because like Weeds was kind of the same idea, where it's like, or somebody doing something illegal and inevitably getting caught by the end. Or I mean, one of the biggest shows in the world is like Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Or I know you don't like this show, but like This Is Us is a huge show, and it's popular because people feel feelings. It doesn't really matter. Like you've said, like the premise of the story isn't really relevant. People are just like they just want an experience. I think that's really, I mean, like, maybe that's just a generic term, but it's like really what it comes down to. We just want to feel something for a second.
And The Last Jedi didn't give that feeling. And that's what I'm saying, though. It's like, what is Star Wars then? It's just the feeling, but if you're not going to make a movie with the feeling, then what are you making? And then if you're going to do it multiple times, then I hope we don't get multiple movies a year. I love them, but I don't want them. I want one a year is a lot. We usually get one every 3 years, and then we didn't get any forever.
Exactly.
Forever. One a year is, I would, one every 2 years most. If you're going to do TV shows, I'm saying. If you're not doing TV shows, give me one a year. But if you're going to do TV shows, and if the TV shows are good, I will feel fatigue in a heartbeat. You know me. I get exhausted on things very quickly. But what you're saying about different, nothing is different, and The Last Jedi is not different whatsoever. I would say more than anything, the tone is different.
Yeah,
but the movie itself is. I didn't find anything. I keep saying this, but I didn't find it bold. Like everybody's like, it's so bold. I'm like, what's bold about it? They killed the bad guy that we didn't know. There's nothing bold in that movie. They just did things that you weren't expecting. That doesn't make it bold.
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
It makes it italics. But yeah, like I know what you mean. Like I like it because it's like, yes, let's fuck with the system. That's right. I cursed on our podcast, but that's what it was like. It was just like they give us it feels like a Star Wars movie, but then there's like No. Like, I feel like it was. I feel like Rian Johnson still has a lot to explain with this movie, even though he's probably done a myriad of interviews. But it's like, I can't say it enough. There's like he's just like he's taking it and he just shakes it like this, and you're like, well, I can understand what all this is, but I don't know exactly how it all connects just yet, or if it ever will connect. And I guess the question is, if we don't get a full like fitting of everything together, does that ruin the trilogy? And then I hear a million commentators go, "Yes, you dummy." I don't know. I don't. I'm satisfied with Last Jedi because I think if you're gonna make movies where it's not George Lucas, you're gonna have a situation where like this is different. This is not what I expected. But like expectation can never be fulfilled. I don't think. Unless we do, unless it's like you go in and you're like, I would like to see this, and then whoever has the highest vote gets it.
Well, if Michael Bay's producing, that's what you get. If Ninja Turtles taught us anything, yeah, that's why the new trilogy, even the Rian Johnson one, guys, don't get too mad on them, but they have so much more room in the sandbox to play in, and I think when they went in and did this movie, The Last Jedi, I don't know why we keep going back to it, but. We're going to talk about this forever.
Yeah.
But when they went back to that, he tried to expand the sandbox to tell the story that he wanted to tell.
Right.
And that's really all it is. And I think, but because he was playing in the sandbox with somebody else's sand, some people can't stop crying. And it's frustrating because it's just. Look, we all love. I think it's frustrating for people because they love Star Wars so much, but also, and to credit to a bunch of people on the comments, though, is they say, "Look, it's one movie. I hated it. I can move past it." But then they are the ones that are just over the top, and Star Wars is dead. I will never watch another one. Blah blah. And you're like, because of a movie. Like, because again, yeah. I get if you didn't like The Force Awakens, but the thing with The Force Awakens is, yeah, you can cry that it's a rehash. Yeah, you can say there's nothing new and blah, blah, blah. But it wasn't a bad movie. It's basically, the way you have to almost look at The Force Awakens is, okay, they rebooted the franchise. And that's what it is. They rebooted it. And instead of doing a straight reboot, they rebooted it, but made the old characters old. And that's what they did. And so you look at it that way. Rogue One, that's a movie that I think gets better all the time. And then Last Jedi, look, love it or hate it, it's one movie out of 9. 1 out of 9. And this is the thing. So if they do these shows and then they have 2 movies a year and there's a backlash like Last Jedi, I'm going to be turning comments off of all of our videos. I'll say that.
I don't know what is better. Because Last Jedi's not a failure, but is it? I guess a question I have is like, does Lucasfilm look at what has happened with the reaction to Last Jedi and be like, let's just do that again? Because it's just like people are buzzing about it. Is that more important than? No. I mean, making money is the number one, but like I think they've made all their money back, so. I mean, it's not really negative buzz.
I think it depends on Solo. Because the hip kids right now are boycott Solo because that's what you do. When you don't like something, you boycott the one that has nothing to do with it. Yeah. You boycott Solo. So I'm really curious to see. I don't think, look, this boycott Solo, the 17 people that made the hate Facebook group for Black Panther are the people that are boycotting Solo. I really want to see what the box office is for Solo. It's not going to be $1 billion. But what is it going to be? And is it going to be hurt from The Last Jedi? Or is the I don't want to say hate, but the negative response to The Last Jedi that a bunch of people felt, not all people, but a bunch of people felt it. Yeah. Is that going to help Solo because Solo is such a throwback film. It's like, okay, we know we did something, you didn't really like it. Yeah. But here's something that we made for you. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. Here's something we made for you. And then, you love Last Jedi. And there's no reason why you're not going to see Solo. So you're already in. Yeah. So that's what, like, it almost seems like perfect. But I want to see what the box office return is for Solo.
I guess the question is, how many people are seeing these movies multiple times? Because it's like, I saw it 4 times. I'm not going to do that every time, but like, I mean, we have a podcast. I'm going to see this movie at least twice. Every movie that comes out, I'll probably see twice.
Yeah, me too.
But it's also, there's something interesting about this movie. But like, so if I see it, say I see it every Star Wars movie 3 times, but you lose a person each year or something like that, don't I make up for that loss? So if there is 1,000 people like me and 1,000 people stop watching Star Wars because they're mad because you ruined their childhood somehow, does that still, like, does that ruin anything? Like, I know that's just a random thing to say, but you know what I mean?
You still lose because your 3 turns into 2.
Right.
So each time if that happens,
right,
it keeps dropping.
I guess. I don't know.
But it's not going to happen because Solo's going to win people back, and it's going to lose people. That's inevitable. Yeah. But it's going to win people back. And then 9, I just can't see a scenario where J.J. Abrams is going to make a movie. Mm-hmm. Now, in 2 years after it comes out, you might hate it, but I can't see a scenario where J.J. Abrams is going to make Episode 9 and people are going to be like, Mwah!
I mean, people said the same thing about the sequels, and I mean, people kept going to see those movies.
The prequels?
Yeah. Like, you know what? I liked the sequels, but I never got excited about them as I did with the original trilogy. Not that I was around when it came out, but like, it wasn't the same magic, but I still went to see it. So it's like, but again, like, I was younger too. Like, when Phantom Menace came out, when?
99.
Yeah, so like, I mean, I was of an age where I could have interest in things, but like, I was like, Star Wars, I'll just go see it. Again, it's like, we, the people that talk about this day in, day out and start these petitions to be like, screw this, bring back George Lucas, or like, I want a Jar Jar film. That's great. But
I want a Jar Jar film.
What is the percentage of that, those people 100%. That go to see it in comparison to the rest?
No, the petitions are stupid because
they're stupid. But like
15 people online complaining about it, but there's $1 billion worth of ticket sales.
Like, who is the person like what is the concept of people when they go to movies? It's like people go to movies sometimes just to go see a movie. So if the top movie that's like everyone's talking about is a Star Wars film, they're probably gonna go see it. Or sometimes they won't see it, not because they hate Star Wars, just because they're like, I'm not really into sci-fi films. I don't know. I don't see horror films, but they tend to do okay. I mean, they have low budgets, so they make their money back a lot faster, but I don't know. I don't know what to say. I mean, at some point, too, we'll stop going to theaters and just download these things.
Whoa.
We're almost there, so.
I just worry about oversaturation of the brand.
Oh, for sure.
Because even, look, we'll move on in a second, but even with, like, the books and the comics is being oversaturated because it's gotten to the point now where so many people have been investing in them. Mm-hmm. Because we've been promised this empty promise that everything's going to connect, and instead, what do we get? We get a one-off DJ, we get a one-off crate, we get a book that has nothing to do with another book. We got Ryan Johnson suggested stuff for Bloodline. What did he suggest? A handwritten note. Like, okay, great. Like, and then the payoff is what? Yeah, well, there's no payoff. Like, well, there is a payoff, but like if you don't, it's. Like, it's not like, oh, my God, I have to read Bloodline to find that out. No, you don't. Yeah. Like, it's not that important in the long run.
Legends of Luke Skywalker. Granted, that's a YA novel, but it's like...
Like, there's no payoff to anything. So now you've oversaturated that by not doing anything with it constructively. Like, the stories individually are, for the most part, fine. Yeah. But you killed off the EU, which I've said from the beginning I'm cool with because you need to do that to move forward, I think. Yeah. But... You've pissed off all those people, and then in return, you've given them just another EU where nothing connects anymore. It's like
it doesn't have the magic because the original EU like progressed. It was like, this is what happens to your characters.
Yeah, there's no progression of anything.
No,
Nora Wexley, spoiler, dies 1,000,000 times, but then doesn't actually die. That's your progression. But like, where's Nora Wexley? Yeah. Like, what is the point of the books? That's another topic. Let's move on to the future of Rey, Finn, and Poe, because if we're getting new trilogies and new shows, and Kathleen Kennedy said we're going to explore their futures, where are they? Yeah. Are these going to be the standalones after?
I don't know. I would like them to continue on.
Well, you don't know.
I mean, they talk about that they won't.
They might die at the end.
Exactly. I, at this moment, would be surprised if Rey continues on, just because, I don't know. I can't see an ending where she doesn't sacrifice herself.
Do you remember the comment she made a few months ago about how she was done?
Yeah.
Do you think she said that not because she's personally tired of the character, which she could very well be after
Possibly,
3 movies,
yeah.
but do you think it was instead because, remember Trevorrow made her cry?
Yeah.
It could be like Rey sacrifices herself to save the galaxy, and that makes her cry. And then she's like, well, I'm not gonna be past 9, but she says it without thinking, like, oh crap, but it's because she knows that Rey's not gonna live on.
Right. Possibly. I don't know. It's weird because it's Rey and Kylo have a weird connection, so it's like, how does this all work? Poe is, I think, the character I can see continuing on, because you can kind of just drop him in as some resistance general or something like that. Finn, I wish they would explore him slightly more. Well, I think they've done a lot in the new movie. Like, it's like, oh, this guy is interesting, but it's like, why? I mean, Star Wars doesn't have to give us backstories, and that's usually why we're like, we want more. It's like, why? Yeah. Why was Finn a First Order stormtrooper? How exactly did they just take these kids at birth and make them soldiers? How does that work? Or is there more to it than that? Like, sorry, you were gonna say something?
No, that's what makes this is not what I was gonna say, but that's what makes like in the movies you don't need any of those answers.
Exactly.
I still think you need in the movie a little bit more about Snoke, but those type of things, that's where the books come in that we're not getting.
Yeah.
That is where you're like, hey, here's Finn. I mean, we got one where Finn was a stormtrooper and 9 was there,
right.
but it's a YA, like, and it's 14 pages with colored books, pictures, books. Yep. It's like, where's the meat of it? And yeah, I kind of want. Everyone loves Rey or everyone hates Rey. There's no like middle ground on Rey. It's like, I love Rey or Rey is a Mary Sue.
Yeah. And
I wish The Last Jedi did something to just stop that argument, the Mary Sue one. It didn't really.
Yeah.
I felt like her progression is the one that was like, okay, she's just at a standstill. She's
right.
like, okay, well, she knows how to lift things now. But it's like, she's the character I want more from, but I would be totally fine if she sacrifices herself at the end of that. Like, if you're going to end this saga, then none of these characters should continue after this, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Unless it is the standalone films. But then, are people going to watch it? Like, do people like the new characters enough to watch them in a standalone film? And I'm not sure they do. I think Kylo's the closest you could get. But, like you just said, he's so tied with Rey that they both have to go out at the same time.
Yeah.
And then that's your redemption for Kylo. It's not a redemption, but it kind of is.
Yeah.
So they can kind of cheapen out on it in that way.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I just don't, like, Finn. I love Finn. But I don't know, like, why do I need to see a standalone on Finn? I don't, like, the standalone I would see on Finn is him leaving the First Order, but that happened in The Force Awakens. So I don't know what.
The problem, too, is, like, it's, from episode 1 to now, it feels like it's supposed to be one long narrative. Even though there's jumps in time, it's like, okay, you follow this character named Finn, Kylo, Rey, Poe, but intermingled in is like, oh, here's where Han's been, here's where Chewbacca is, and so it's like, okay, so then it's part of that. But will people be confused if you call it Star Wars and it's a whole new cast of characters? Like, how do you? Because, well, I mean, I guess the question is, will the 10th movie be considered Episode 10? Even though they kind of don't do that currently. You know what I mean, though? Because it will be considered Star Wars 10.
Which one?
The whatever comes after episode, or the next movie, the J.J. Abrams movie. Like, will the next series of Star Wars movies be considered Star Wars : something, and then like, well, this is the 10th movie, or are they going to create the concept of it separate? Like, I know you could have, like, Star Trek has those movies, and there's kind of a continuation of story, But in the original ones, it's sort of like especially when they added the new generation cast, it was like kind of different stories. But they got rid of the numbers because it was like, like Wrath of Khan and Search for Spock kind of connect because it starts up where the other one ends. But like, is there a connection? But they're all considered like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So do we cut that number out to make it less confusing?
For Rian Johnson and the Game of Thrones, I don't think they're going to be considered. They're not. Right. They're separate sagas on their own. So they're going to get Rian Johnson trilogy and whatever the Game of Thrones guys are doing. Right. It's going to be their own separate things.
Right.
Now the question is, are they going to call them? I don't think they'll call them episodes.
Yeah.
But if they're both just Star Wars : that'd be weird. They might be like Star Wars: the blah blah saga, and I think that's where they're going to go. So when it all in 10 years when we get our 400 disc box set, because that'll still be around, it'll be the Skywalker Saga and it'll be these 9 movies, and then it'll be the Johnson Saga and these 3 movies, and then it'll be the Gott Saga and it'll be those 7 movies, and I think that's how it's going to be, and that's how they're going to start differentiating things. And I think that's why, aside from being connected to the prequels, they took out the numbers in these movies. If you notice, The Last Jedi, Force Awakens do not say episode anything. Except for in the crawl, obviously. And I think that's why, because they're going to start branding them as Skywalker Saga, X Saga, Y Saga.
Yeah, because it's almost like you could just say, well, these are chapters in the Book of Wills. But not everyone understands what the Book of Wills is. Hell, I barely understand it sometimes. But, you can't get around that to explain it, because it's like, people are like, well, this is Star Wars 9, right? Or Star Wars 10. I know I'll have a conversation with my dad whenever those movies come out. It's like, so which one is this one? Is this guy in it? I'm like, no. Or yes. Or I don't know.
Well, Solo is the sequel to Rogue One. Han is Han, yo.
Han is Han.
So Harrison Ford gave, a couple weeks ago on EW, Harrison Ford revealed that he gave some advice to Alden Ehrenreich on playing Han Solo. And Ehrenreich said, the only thing I'm allowed to say is that he told me I'm not allowed to say it. But apparently, while they were shooting, Aaron could be like, whoa, Harrison told me this. And he would change the way he was performing because of the advice he was getting. Yeah, and apparently that's really awesome. Look, this kid is going to crush it as Han. And if you can't see past his face or his accent, I can't really help you with that. That's your own personal...
Sorry. Harrison Ford is old.
Yeah, this is who you got. I would trust the casting directors on this one. They saw thousands upon thousands of people, and I'm pretty sure, even though he's Spielberg's boy, that was part of it. And we know Kathleen Kennedy is not above firing people that are not doing their job. And if the lead actor in a movie is not doing their job and it's a nobody actor, I'm pretty sure she would have no problem being like, we're already getting Uncle Ron in here. We will get Clint Howard to play you in a heartbeat. Get out.
It's like chastising a child.
Yeah.
It's like, you need to calm down in 3, 2, 1.
Well, I just think the acting coach thing, and I saw in the comments, everyone's like, with the acting coach. I was like, no. The acting coach was there because of the performance Lord and Miller was making him do. He was doing the Ace Ventura performance because they were making a 21 Jump Street style movie, which might have been fine. I'm not saying that wouldn't even been a bad movie, but that is not the Star Wars movie that Lucasfilm and Disney wanted to make, or Kasdan, who wrote the script for his favorite character, Han Solo. Trust the script. Trust the performance. Harrison Ford gave this actor his blessing as Han Solo. So everybody that says everything, that's all that matters. Harrison Ford is like, he's Han now. Han Solo, like Harrison Ford is Han Solo, but he's not. And it would be so annoying to watch an actor do an impression of Harrison Ford for 2 hours. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I donated on Indiegogo to a Han Solo short film.
Oh, yeah?
With Costa doing it. Phenomenal impression of him. But it's 5 minutes, and you're watching it, and you're like, it's an impression. And the entire time, you cannot switch from your brain that it is someone doing an impression of Harrison Ford.
Right.
And it's fine for an Indiegogo short film. For a fan film, it's perfect, and his impression is great and whatnot. But you don't want to watch 2 hours of an impression of Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
You want to see somebody embody the character written in the words. And he's 16, 15 years younger than Harrison Ford in this movie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Third best Star Wars film.
God, what was I going to say? We're getting a Han Solo film. Just take it for what it is. Like, it doesn't, there's no, you can't tell me there is a perfect, like, scenario. And, like, this is even predates Star Wars, where it's like people will like always expect something else. Like I remember when XMen first came out, somebody told me he thought Ben Stiller would have been a better Wolverine instead of Hugh Jackman, who was unknown at the time. And I'm like, what? Like,
well, Hugh Jackman's too tall, obviously.
Or it's like, well, we'll go with this like some random actress. I can't remember who it was because she had red hair. It's like, oh, Mary Jane, it would be better. I'm like, why? Like, she's not that. Like, there was a person that did TV and not film, and I'm not saying you can't do both, but I'm like, you got Kirsten Dunst. She's been in films. Like, put the person with film experience in. It doesn't make sense. But you'll never please people. Like, it's like, well, if you're going to do an X-Men film, it's got to be these people. If you're going to... It's like, why? You put Wolverine in, it sells. Sells, baby.
Remember Wizard Comics?
Yep.
In like 1992 or 3, they did a dream casting of X-Men.
Oh, they would do that all the time. It was great.
Gambit was Jean-Claude Van Damme. Professor X was Patrick Stewart because he's the only one that can ever be Professor X.
Yeah, yeah.
Except for James McAvoy. Who else was there? Oh, man, it was fantastic.
Yeah, yeah.
They had everyone cast. I can't remember. I was in grade 8 when that thing came out, but it was so good. It was. But Jean-Claude Van Damme as Gambit, they should still make that movie.
They did one when it was like Christopher Nolan Batman, like maybe Batman Begins came out, and they were talking about like if they made Long Halloween, the Tim Saleh, Jeff Loeb Batman miniseries, and they were talking about like who should have been Batman. I don't even think they put Christian Bale, but it was like Robin or he's not in Long Halloween. He's in I forget the one right after that. But they had Robin like Frankie Muniz because it's not a matter of like is this person a good actor? It's like, well, this kind of looks like the drawing, so let's go with it. And those are fun. They kind of still do that on Instagram, where you're like, if Black Panther was cast in the 80s, or if Avengers was cast in the 80s, and it's like, that's hilarious. Moving on. Deborah, tell me the odds.
Today's odds are brought to you by the Rebel Scum podcast right here on YouTube.
Yeah.
This video just got the yellow circle of death.
Yay.
The first odd, the odds of stormtroopers appearing in the Game of Thrones greater
0%.
saga.
Because they've already done stuff. Oh, you mean, sorry. See, the wording of this was confusing. You don't mean actually Game of Thrones. You're talking about what? DBYs and
the Game of Thrones creators saga.
Then 100%, because they're always gonna have stormtroopers in some variation.
I'm gonna go full Brock. I would like them, but I don't know if you'll always get them, because if you got to move away from stuff and there's no Empire, there's no stormtroopers.
Yeah, but you have First Order and then the same thing.
Yeah, but if this takes place in the Old Republic or if this takes place in the Future Republic,
in the video game they had a variation as well.
Yeah,
because it's easy to put people in armor without faces showing.
Yeah, but you don't know what it's going to be about. So I'm going full Brock because it's easy to not do it.
Yeah.
I would love it. Odds of purposefully losing the bet that wins Han the Falcon. So will Lando purposely lose the bet so that Han can win his ship because Han is a better pilot.
I'll go 75 on that because I think you're right. I think there is definitely like... He has the Falcon. He's not good as a pilot, and somehow he realizes it would be better to give Han the...
Do you think Han wins the Falcon, then he gives Lando his fur coat? Because he's wearing the fur coat, and then in that one shot, Lando's wearing the fur coat.
Yeah.
And Lando's watching the ship go, presumably for the last time in his possession. He's like, oh, there goes my baby. Yeah. I'm wearing this fur coat, though. Watch Atlanta. Going on. I'll go 70%. And the odds of Kylo Ren's helmet returning in episode 9.
It would be cool. I'd be for it because he seems very attached to it. My worry is if they bring a helmet back, they'll change it, and I hate when they change stuff like that.
You think they change it?
I don't know why. Not like there could be a reason for changing it, but you know how it is. It's like, I mean, Star Wars is known for giving new apparel, but like not to like, Darth Vader more or less looked the same throughout all three. So, because I feel like the return of the helmet is important because I feel like that's how he truly sees himself, as that like metallic monster. So I'm going to go 65%.
0. because I think he's done. I think it is over for his helmet. He was the face of The Force Awakens, and then Rey kind of became the face of the franchise.
But perhaps he'll spite what Snoke basically made him feel in Last Jedi and bring it back, and then we'll get maybe Knights of Ren, or I don't know.
Yeah, maybe, but then he has to rebuild it.
Yeah,
I would like it to come back, but I don't know. It's like, he has it, he doesn't have it. He has it, he doesn't have it. He has it, doesn't have it. Just oh man, toys.
Yeah.
Books and you brought something that I've been trying to bring for the last couple weeks, and I keep forgetting. And then you're like, "Look what I bought!" And I'm like, "That is what
I've been trying
to bring." I have that at home. I have it at home. Entertainment Weekly
special edition guide, ultimate guide to Star Wars, and it's the newer version because it's got Last Jedi. I think it says right here. Now with Last Jedi content. It's great. Entertainment Weekly just knocks it out of the park with these things. They get it. And it shows cool pictures from all the films, Star Wars. It actually starts with Last Jedi instead of going like chronologically. I mean, I didn't see... No, I was going to say, like, I didn't see any pictures I've never seen before, but there is a definite spattering of, like, different things. Like, I saw stuff from the holiday special. There's a lot of articles, which I think I tend to not read them, and I should.
It's really good.
Because, yeah, but it's definitely embracing everything Star Wars, not just the films. Like, there's stuff about Rebels and Clone Wars in here. Here's a picture of all the people that were Boba Fett at some point. And on the back, which is, I think, I really like this picture, and the quote, Chewbacca and Princess Leia on the Cloud City set, and it says, "When we began, it was just another film." A quote from Peter Mayhew as Chewbacca. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. And just these candid things are awesome. Like, it's, I don't know. It always seems like the Leia Chewbacca pictures are really interesting. So,
yeah,
worth it. It's on stands right now. Get it. This is like, I'm a comic book person, and you're like, oh, maybe one day I'll make money off my comics. This is the collector thing that's worth it, because not everyone buys these. I just was in a random grocery store and I got this. So, like, take this, put it away, and maybe you'll make money on it. I don't know.
When Aaron got it for me, I had never seen it before.
Exactly. So,
all right, let's tell you guys how you can win Ahsoka. The Pop, Funko Pop, Hot Topic, exclusive. Special thanks to Fatty Fan Theories for hooking us up with this. The price tag is still on it.
Classic.
We'll take that off for you. But anyway, guys, all you have to do is share this video.
Share it.
Share the video. Go click share and go to Twitter or Facebook. Share it on either one of those. Hashtag Rebel Scum Podcast. And next week, we will select a winner for this amazing Ahsoka Pop figure. Look at that. The two lightsabers, they're clear.
Yeah, it's the Rebels one, the Fulcrum Ahsoka, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's Rebels, says Rebels right on it.
Yep.
We will ship this out to you no matter where you live, unless you live in Brock's house. Then you will not get it whatsoever. All right, let's move on to top 5 Han moments.
Ooh.
Look out. What's your number 5?
My number 5 is "That's Not How the Force Works."
Oh, great moment.
Such a great comedy moment, and it kind of teaches you about characters, and then, like, just like, I was like, we'll use the Force. It's like, that's not how the Force works. And then Chewbacca's like behind him, like, I was like, oh, you're cold. Like, so many things just happen in that little scene. I love it.
Every time he says princess in A New Hope. Every time. Love it. No reward is worth this. My number 4, "That's not how the Force works." Because it's awesome. I love that line. And sometimes I wish the writers would listen to that line.
My number 4 is "Laugh It Up, Fuzzball."
Yes.
In Empire Strikes Back, I believe. Because
Laugh it up, Fuzzball.
Leia makes him look stupid, and then he's like, "Laugh it up, Fuzzball." I just love anytime Han talks to Chewbacca and they have a moment, like almost like a spat as a married couple or something like that.
My number 3, hey, it's me. Return of the Jedi.
Oh, I was like, I don't remember that line.
It's me.
Hey,
it's me.
Yeah.
It's me.
Yeah.
It's me.
Oh.
It's Han. Wait, can we do Are we doing the trailer, the solo trailer moments as well? I want to change my number 5 to... Looked like we were in trouble there, but we're fine. That's my number 5.
Nice.
Changed it.
Changed it. It's happening. My number 3 would have to be him being frozen in carbonite. It's just like I know it's a sad moment. It's kind of a moment where like Leia and Han just like, so this is how I feel. And then he's like, what's going to happen? Like, and it's right on the heels or just prior to Luke getting his hand cut off and finding out who his father is. Like, it's like, wow, bang, bang. I think that. And then Luke, I am your father. You're like, this is crazy. So it's a crucial part of the series.
I'm changing my number 2 because I'm including things from the trailer. You know what? He wants to be the best pilot in the galaxy. F yeah.
Yeah.
That is a character with dreams and ambitions, and he is a scoundrel. Mm-hmm. That's my number 2. It was going to be, I know, but I changed it. I know.
Yeah.
Your number 2.
My number 2 is Chewie. We're home. Because it's sort of... I feel like that's really the moment in Force Awakens where we're like... And now we're back in with it. Like, you've been following these new characters you don't really know much about, and then all of a sudden he walks through that door, and you're like, okay. Like, now we have met. Let's go do a Star Wars adventure.
We're home. My number 1. We're fine here. We're all fine. Boring conversation anyway. We got company. Pew pew pew. That's my sound. Pew 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 pew.
Pew pew pew. Gotcha.
Lucasfilm, I'm available for hire if you need sound effects.
Number
1.
Is that number 1?
Yeah.
All right, kid, let's blow this place and get out of here. Trench run saves the day, and it's sort of like the moment where he's no longer just some guy working a job. He's like, okay, this is something I can't walk away from. So, yeah.
Awesome. Love me some Han Solo. Cannot wait 2 months for the Han Solo movie. And also, we're waiting to hear back from Joshua Lucas if he will do the Duel of the Fates against Andrew Fantasia. Han Solo trivia. Bum, bum, bum. Cannot wait. Thanks, guys. It's been 82 weeks. Can't believe it. March is just around the corner. Ahsoka. Remember, share this video. Hashtag Rebel Scum Podcast. And you'll be entered into a draw to win Ahsoka. You have to answer a skill testing question. 1 + 1 divided by 2.
4.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. It means a lot to us that you spend time with us. This is Brock. I am James. And Brock, you were always scum.
Rebel scumbags. Oh, wait.
Hey, scumbags. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.